Great morning, great morning, great morning. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the It's About You radio show here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Maurice McDonald, each and every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what I always say, I don't take this lightly. I don't take it for granted. It's a privilege and honor for me to have this platform. Those of you that know my story, I've had 3 amazing careers: law enforcement, school counselor, and now college educator, and also did domestic violence counseling. Over 4 decades of helping people. I wanted to go into radio, television, broadcasting. My creator had a delay for that. 40 years later, he brought radio back to me. Listen, I'm extremely grateful to that. Now, the show is called It's About You, but simply because it is about you, the quality of your mind, the integrity of your soul, and the determination of your will that will decide your future and shape your life. That's the quote from the late Dr. Benjamin Mays, former president of Morehouse College many, many years ago. I love that quote. And because it's 8 o'clock in the morning, that means somebody is at work, someone showering, someone driving, someone having breakfast. Thank you for your ears. This show is designed to get into your ears, into your heart, and hopefully into your legs, ladies and gentlemen, cause you to move into the greatness you were created to be. And 8 o'clock in the morning, I always give my morning quote of the day. The morning quote of the day is a powerful quote to me. Very simply, it says, every day you wake up, hit the ground running. Every day you wake up, hit the ground running, because the slowest gazelle in the jungle knows they got to be faster than the slowest lion. You got to move fast. Everybody, you've heard this dog eat dog world. I don't agree with that all the time, but understand, you hit the ground running because there's a lot of purpose inside of you. There are a lot of goals you have not accomplished yet. There are things that you've put on the back burner. One day, I'm going to do this one day. Well, I've never seen one day on the calendar. There's Monday through Friday, and Monday through Saturday, and Monday through Sunday, but not one day. Plant that in the ground and go running every single day. Hit the ground running to accomplish your goals for that particular day. Your morning quote of the day has been brought to you by MauriceMcDonald.net. MauriceMcDonald.net. Go there and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome and get a hold of some outstanding supplements to take care of your gut, ladies and gentlemen, because all disease begins in the gut. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking about this untying the knot or tying the knot. Every time I think I'm finished with it, I'm not finished with it. So I've learned to stop saying this is going to be my last show, because it won't be the last show on this topic, because I always know there's some other great people that I've had the privilege and honor of working with, folks in the past who've enlightened my world, and also they're doing a lot of amazing things, and they can add some light to this topic as well. Well, today's show is no different. Someone that I've known, someone I trust and highly respect, for the last 20 years. She has been groundbreaking. She has been a beacon of light and hope to a lot of people. Somebody I knew from way back, and they also now have their PhD and now author books, and I'll let her tell all about that. But somebody who has her own practice as well, and enlightening the lives of so many people in the addiction field, in the counseling field, and that is none other than, I'll let her introduce herself, but I'm gonna call her Dr. Wanda, and she'll tell you all about it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Dr. Wanda.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much, Maurice. You got me fired up over here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yes, my name is Dr. Wanda Brown-Ramseur, and I'm excited. I've been in the field over 20 years, and I'm still excited. So, Maurice, I don't understand when people say, I'm just on this job, I'm burned out. I don't understand that language. My brain would not even wrap around that, because guess what? I have learned that you only get burned out when you not doing anything, or when you're doing the same thing over and over, and you've not allowed yourself to grow, to take in new information, to discover that I within you. Yes, I'm a double license. I'm a licensed clinical supervisor. I'm a licensed mental health supervisor, and I supervise interns that come, the mental health students that's coming out right out of college. They preparing to take the state exam. I do supervision to help them prepare for the state exam. I also provide supervision, but in this world we call it the preceptorship for psychiatric nurses that is looking for preceptorship sites to learn 150 to 180 hours of theories, counseling theories. And so I'm teaching, they're modeling, and they're hearing me teach how to integrate the theories into medication. But you know what, Maurice, it's so sad we are at a point in our life, in our era of the world where basically I am teaching people just how to be nice, how to be kind. So I call it, my theory is restoring the human touch. How to use our tone of voice, how to use yourself as an instrumental clinical tool in working with people when you are in the counseling or the health care field that's helping providers. So, again, the name of my company is Steps Towards Success. Just opened a nonprofit, Steps to Success. Under the nonprofit, I wanted to implement family trauma camps. I am not just a clinician. I'm a visionary healer, a guide, and a vessel of restoration, bringing families together and restoring relationships, getting people to really look at what is going on. So how do I do this? I specialize in generational trauma. And Matt, guess what? I went another step, even deeper. Looking at generational trauma, changing the language from these family systems saying, well, you know, it's a curse. My family has a curse on it because daddy went to prison, granddaddy went to prison, and you know, it's in the family. So my thing is as long as we label it a curse, people, that is a stage that have been used as an adaptation of malfunctional behaviors and beliefs, so therefore we do nothing. And as long as you do nothing in the home, guess what? You take this energy right onto the job site, and next thing you know, you burn out. But because of survival need, you stay right there, not realizing the damage that you're doing to coworkers. If you're a therapist, the damage you're doing to a client. So I think we're in an era where it's time to restore the human touch. It's time that we inspect what we expect. I do work in group homes where there's adolescents and also the adult group homes, the AFL homes. Just design a specialized training program for that non-clinical staff person that works on these shifts in group homes. Okay? Yeah. I believe that they all have great hearts, but lack of training.
Right. And that is so important to have that training. And I'm so glad you begin to give my audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, and restoring that health. You know, that human touch is oftentimes a problem. And you mentioned so many different things, like on the job, the issues that people start to drink more, do other things, and I think that falls right in line with this topic I was telling you about, untying those knots.
Yes, the knots of life.
Yes, the knots of life.
How we get tangled, but I also want to end to talk about how we can get free.
Yes. Yeah. So you talked about some of that, but tell my audience a little bit of what you feel about some of these knots of life that you talked about.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is most people don't wake up and choose chaos. Knots happen, sometimes one thread at a time. Mm-hmm. And let's get some clarity, okay? A knot is what happens when pain goes unprocessed, patterns go unchallenged, and support goes unused, right? Mm-hmm. Some knots are visible: addiction, divorce, grief. And also, Maurice, you have some knots that are hidden, like shame, burnout. If we're going back to that again. Mm-hmm. spiritual emptiness. Those are knots. That is the hidden. How people end up in knots. Are you ready for this?
Give it to us.
Some people end up in knots because they end up in knots because of not replacing problems, unresolved problems, or small decisions, not formed when we under stress and keep pulling in the same direction. And some of those directions sometimes, Maurice, is control, avoidance, perfection, people pleasing. Or sometimes we get in the blame game. Unspoken pain becomes repeated behavior. Let me just say that again. This is how we end up in knots. Unspoken pain. Remember I said that some is visible and some is hidden?
Right.
So unspoken pain becomes repeated behavior, right? Sometimes my survival strategies expire. Maybe many of my bad habits started as a coping skill, like drinking,
Right.
okay,
Right.
to numb it. Sometimes my bad habit is hustling through it, chaos situations. Sometimes those knots comes from laughing it off, suck it up kind of mentality. What about drinking it down, sleeping it away that ends up in depression? What helps you survive a season? Let me make sure that the audience understands this. What helped you survive during a particular season in your life can sabotage your next season that you're going into. That's the importance of coming to counseling or getting new information. And it don't have to be a setting in a therapist and an office. Be willing to recognize new information. Let's say another survival strategy that expires, but we continue to use it, and that's the lack of isolation. Isolation tightens knots, secrecy, makes them harder to untie.
Meaning, I got to be by myself? Are you saying, when you say isolation, that I'm going through something and I need to stay by myself and shut down?
Exactly. I shut down. The enemy of healing is not always seeing, it's silence. Okay? So many times we get caught up in the spiritual, mixing up spirituality with religion, and religion leads us in the words of, well, I'm sin, so I need to get it right before I go to church. I need to get it right because I'll sin. Well, where did that come from? Sometimes you'll find that interweaving in and out of generational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Even sometimes from the pulpit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the enemy of healing is not always sin. Sometimes it's silence. When we shut down in a form of secrecy with our problems and we're not reaching out for help, we'll find our own knot.
Yeah. And sounds like that knot sometimes can lead to depression.
Yeah. And that's exactly, it will end up in depression. When there's the depression, now we look at a quick fix.
Yes.
And what that quick fix looks like, it can come in the form of addictions, overeating, over medicating ourselves. Sometimes, and I do want to say this. Sometimes it also shows up in our parenting skills. You know, Maurice.
Yeah.
We've had a lot lately of our young people, teenagers, committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a concern. Then how many knots, when you look throughout the community, how many knots is out there that need to be untied that need to do some trusting, but it's not happening.
Right.
I mean, it ends up in the intergenerational trauma.
Right. Going through. Yeah. And not
yeah,
talking.
We're not talking.
Yeah, because I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, sometimes we are still operating from that, I guess that traditional message. You don't talk, don't trust, don't feel.
Okay. And that comes from many times family, don't you think?
That's exactly in that generational debris. I'm talking about trauma. Secrets.
Family secrets.
Family secrets. So how, when we are talking about the family secrets, we're talking about unraveling those threads.
Yes.
The pain. Then and that's that will have to come out with trust. Something I find with a lot of people, a lot of my clients, is still the shame.
Mm-hmm. Shame with this, and oftentimes I want to speak to this. Many people are tied to labels from their past.
Yes.
That ties them in knots. That they've always been the black sheep of the family, or they've always been the loser of the family. You're not like your brother. You're not like your sisters, and they wear that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes as a badge of honor, or sometimes it becomes a major crutch in their life.
Well, sometimes it also makes up. They believe it's a part of their identity, and this is what I talk about in generational trauma is that passing on the generation after generation their definition of the way you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be. Emotion, not what happens inside. Even we talk about grief, unprocessed grief turns into being irritable. Unprocessed trauma turns into having a fear. Also, what I find is that because it leaves me with so many messages, I'm not good enough. I am not enough. Okay?
Right.
If I'm not enough, and the reality is, I find the person will find themselves attracting to other people that's really have the same belief, but they have such a strong mask on, and if I have very low self-esteem, I think I'm the problem. So I start immediately trying to fix me with the foundation of just wanting to be accepted.
Wanting to be accepted.
Looking for acceptance. People, sometimes you hit I will sabotage your own self and say, I've got to be crazy. I am so crazy. No, you're not crazy. You just flooded with a lot of wrong, unhealthy information. Key emotional knots, shame, his messages, something is wrong with me. Fear. If I allow myself to feel it, Maurice, I'll fall apart.
Right.
Maybe one of the knots is anger. I'm tired of being hurt. And so, since anger is one of the most popular emotions, I'll act out and I'll match my energy for another person's energy. And next thing you know, I done caught a charge.
Right.
Not understanding that I maybe just be hurting.
Right. I believe our criminal justice system and court systems are filled with individuals that have those knots from the past.
Yes.
Is the reason why they're here today.
Exactly. The prison is full. The group homes with young adolescents. And this is what my mission at this point is I've written a book, and it's called SIP. Have you had your SIP today? And SIP is an acronym for Sweet Inspirational Prayer. And I'm focusing on steps on how to break the cycle of transitional trauma, pain, unhealed, because if it starts in the home, and if the parents, the grandparents, if they don't change their language, to get new information, you have this information is passed right on down to the children, and where a lot of your children, over millions of children, are in group homes across the state of North Carolina, in group homes, and then they age out of the group home at 18, and then they go into AFL homes, and it's just constantly cycle. And my thing is, when is the pain going to end? When, I go there and they're still in a stage of grieving, and a lot of times we think grieving is the physical loss of that loved one. But I think people grieve a lot today, but it's misunderstood as anger. Grieving from the loss of the healthy nurturing, healthy health that you're so much about, Maurice. When people get up and plan to have a headache, well, let me make sure I take my Aleve, put them in my purse because I know my head's going to hurt today. That's a sign of being burned out. When I plan to support the mental health label that's been put on me, I plan to have a pain today. I plan to go into depression, and I plan it so often until, guess what? I end up, that's exactly what's going to happen. And then next thing I'm into an addiction knot. And why the addiction knots grab us so tightly. Addiction is often pain management. Again, addiction is often pain management until it becomes a prison.
Right. Oh, you said it becomes a prison.
Until it becomes a prison.
So
addiction is pain management until it becomes a prison.
So somebody who doesn't understand the addiction process will see somebody addicted and they want to know why you don't just quit. Why don't you do this? So what I'm hearing you say, it could be that they've locked themselves into this prison because of the pain they're trying to avoid.
Yes. It starts as a relief, then it becomes a routine, and then it turns into dependence, and then it ends up in a regret.
Yes.
Because the more I depend on this addiction, the deeper it gets. The pain is more intense, and then that's when it turns into a prison. The brain learns. The brain learns in addiction. This is how we survive. If it's suck it up type of attitude, if that's what was taught to me, and sometimes you hear people say, well, this is just who I am. And so people around me, I expect people around me just to accept that, if I feel like cussing you out, I feel like whatever, this is just who I am. This is me. And I want to say to the world, no, it's not you. But the brain learns this is how we survive. Healing touches the brain in a new survival plan when we open ourselves and get new information. The opposite of addiction, and whoever's listening out here, if you're taking notes, the opposite of addiction isn't just sobriety, it's connection. It's beginning to make a connection in your brain because the brain holds memories and the body holds pain. So the way I work with people, I specialize in the trauma. So I do the EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. That's in taking the person back, look at what happened, this traumatic event that left you with a story that's not true. So helping the client reprocess and desensitize. It can't take away the pain, cannot take away the memory, but it certainly can get you a point where you desensitize to the pain, and now you can accept new information.
Wow.
And stop making connection with new information.
New information. I love that. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Your body is the most advanced operating system in the world. Every day, trillions of cells run millions of processes at once. Over time, it can start to slow down due to stress, poor sleep, diet, environmental stressors. It can feel overwhelming. Suddenly, you feel the lag. Brain fog, low energy, poor digestion, slower recovery. That's your system struggling to keep up. What if, instead, you could give yourself an edge to tackle what the day has in store? From the creators of the world's most powerful activation products comes Healthy Edge. Healthy Edge starts with Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. It reduces oxidative stress by up to 40% in 30 days by activating your natural cellular defense system to help your body make its own antioxidants that are 1,000,000 times more powerful than any you could ever take. The other half of Healthy Edge is P84. Using the right amount of whole food ingredients, probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics, and digestive enzymes, P84 activates the master peptides in your gut that help regulate, repair, and restore balance, going beyond supplementation. On their own, each activator is powerful. Together, they help you feel unstoppable. NRF2 Synergizer is your defense. P84 is your offense. And when they work as one, you don't just keep up, you stay ahead of everything life throws your way. Want to level up your activation? Check out our other activator products and learn about sharing these life-changing products to start a healthy side business. Take back your day with Healthy Edge.
To learn more about Healthy Edge, simply go to MauriceMcDonald.net. That's MauriceMcDonald.net. Again, MauriceMcDonald.net to learn about the Healthy Edge and take back your day. We're back, guys. We're back here on the It's About You radio show, WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Maurice McDonald. We just finished the first segment. Oh, man, I'm going to say Dr. Wanda's been laying it down. I hope you all got your pen and everything out, your ears up. Let me let you know right now. You know she knows what she's talking about. She ain't going to play with you. And we just been talking a lot. That's right. We're talking about these knots and the trauma with it. And before we get into how to come out of some of these knots, you mentioned about the word stories that are not true, things that we tell ourselves. Talk to my audience a little bit about what are those stories that we tell ourselves.
Maurice, there's so many stories that we tell ourselves. Not good enough. And you know, that one liner there has traveled from being that little 4-year-old or 5-year-old that was being compared to maybe a sibling, or maybe was taken advantage of. At maybe the little 5-year-old was left, please hear me, was left in a stage where the 5-year-old was actually forced to go through an adult experience. That traumatized the 4-year-old and then stayed in a knot at that point. And now I see that knot grows up to the young adult, into a marriage, into now sometimes that is a person, male or female, it does not matter. Sometimes someone has lots of knots in the prior generation. Someone compared granddaddy. Somebody compared granddaddy that they were not good enough. Their skin was too dark, or they too light, or they too fat, or they too tall. Okay. You're not smart enough. So the shame, that's another knot in this prior generation that goes right on down. And so, again, maybe that generation prior was speaking.
Yeah.
That led it right on to this little girl, a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the knot shows up in the bullying through other kids at school.
Right, right. We see that a lot.
Yes. And from my side of the world and dealing with a lot of the teenagers, here you go. Underneath that suicidal thought, underneath the roots of the inflicting self-harm, sometimes they're not there. You will find.
Yes, I tell you.
I need someone to listen to me. My voice is not being heard. That's a knot. Well, where did it come from? You track it back, and that thread of the knot began to wind itself into a knot generation prior.
Mm-hmm.
So these knots is so deep because sometimes adults face in these family systems is so heavy.
Yeah. And you're right.
Sometimes, some people, they're not mad at God. They're just exhausted from carrying religion without relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying religion without relationships. Spiritual knots can look like guilt that never left.
Right, right.
Guilt is not there. Performance-based faith. If I do enough, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So that is passed right on down to the children, and they find out they're never okay.
Right, right. And there are people walking around that way.
It's a big hole.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are people walking around wounded. So how can somebody, let's say, come out of those knots? Because knots don't have to be permanent.
No, they don't.
Yeah, so let's talk about the road to recovery from the knots, or how to bounce back from them.
Okay. First, I teach how name that knot. Truth is step one. Okay? And that's the name of my podcast is Steps Toward Truth. You want to break the cycle? You name the knot. If you can name it, you can face it.
If you name it, you can face it. Okay.
Yeah. If you can face it, you can change it. Let me say that again. If you can name that knot, you can face it. If you can face it, you can change it. Because remember, the roots of the knot sometimes started in that secret dark place in secrets and in shame. So you're going to name it, and then you're going to invite reflection. Now you're going to change your attention off of taking other people's inventory. What happened back there? You're going to develop the attitude with the steps I'm giving you is, excuse me, but I got to go on. So how you do this? You're going to invite reflection. What am I avoiding? What keeps repeating in my life?
What keeps repeating? Okay.
What keeps repeating? Now I'm taking ownership. I'm bringing it on in. I've spent enough time, enough days looking back. I want to look forward. So what am I avoiding? What keeps repeating? What am I using to cope that's costing me? What am I using to cope that he's triggering me to want to go back to the old behavior? So you're going to learn after you name it and you do self-reflection, you're going to teach yourself to stop pulling what tightens the knot.
Okay.
Okay?
So sometimes we pull.
Yes, and from the pulling that tightens the knot is sometimes over-explaining. Okay? Mm-hmm. Sometimes saying I'm sorry and you've done nothing wrong.
Oh. Okay, yeah. So somebody's taking ownership to something they didn't do.
The something that didn't belong to them. Now you're learning to take off those coats to feel like you have to do this. Over-controlling and over-functioning tight knots. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is just pause. Giving silence a new definition. Stop pulling what tightens your knot. Sometimes silence. You can only hear that spiritual quiet voice, direction, when you can settle all those racing thoughts going on in your brain. Remember, the brain holds memories. But you have to, in this process, you are actually reorienting the brain and giving it a different message. And you just learn to meditate. Do some meditation. Beginning to learn to like who you are. Begin to get to know. Before you can like, you got to get to know and understand. I'm a therapist, but I teach. I understand all my interns. You have a therapist within you. You're going to stop pulling what tightens the knot, and then you're going to find the first thread, and that's the root. You're going to look at the symptoms. Don't just manage the behavior. Understand the wound.
Understand the wound. So in other words, sounds like you're saying that I can't fix what I don't understand.
Exactly. And you can't fix what's not yours.
Oh my goodness. Say that again.
And you're going to stop and ask. Stop and ask yourself. You can only do this when you learn to stop engaging in other people's energy. Stop feeling like you got to match other people's energy, and stop and ask yourself, when did this pattern start protecting me? Because exactly what you're doing that continues to pull and tighten your knot, that's an adaptive behavior you've learned in protecting yourself. But the very things we learn in generations debris to protect ourselves is the very thing that is destroying you. And so today, it's not what happened back there that's destroying you. As long as you continue to pull and tighten those knots and not let go, you are destroying your own self. That's when you become your own worst enemy. So, number 4 step, replace isolation with support. Practical support. You get a therapist. You can go to a pastor, a coach, a mentor. There are support groups out here. One safe person to tell the truth to. There's one safe person. You got to get it out of your head.
And I think
that's where all the activity is going on. And remember, the brain holds memories. So secrecy breathes, okay, under the roots of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to get it out. I need to find someone that I can talk to, get it out.
And I think you just said a word that I definitely want to circle back to. You said one safe person that I can talk to. And that word safe has to be careful. Safe is not Facebook. Safe is not Instagram. Safe is not somebody who gonna run tell your business.
Right.
Or tell you, girl, if I were you, or man, if I were you, I just do.
Mm-hmm.
Find those people that is that safe person with confidentiality. And that's why a therapist is such a great place. That's a great place that you can unwind and be yourself, tell the truth, and get your healing. And oftentimes people go to the wrong people, which ties another knot now.
When you are serious about untying those knots and breaking free to celebrate that I within you that you never discovered. Sometimes we're still walking around impregnated with our true self, because behind that presentation self, we make sure that when you're reaching out to find someone safe to talk with, you're not selecting a person that's a part of your presentation self.
Ooh. So it's not the person that maybe help you get in that knot.
That's right.
or even a family. It don't necessarily mean it's family, because family sometimes is not. Look, all family. What they say, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes the people in your family or person you go through, if they have not healed their trauma, they are going to give you advice of what worked for them. But you need to understand and be able to look at, well, what is working for them?
Right.
What is their definition about this worked for me? So let me tell you, you get smart enough to say, okay, let me reflect. Again, that word reflect is so important. Reflect on that person's life and what is working. Is going through the third divorce, is that working? And this person going to say, this is what I did, but they keep ending it up. I'm going to start all over. So you have to seek outside of yourself and sometimes outside of that family system. Build a new daily rhythm. Small steps, but whatever you start doing, be consistent.
Yeah.
Because knots don't loosen from one big speech.
Right.
They loosen from repeated small practices. So sometimes we'll go to a person and they got all this talk for you. And you walk away and you just feeling so high motivated, you good, and everything is going to be great. And next day, you find yourself going right back into that dark place. So, sometimes when we're really serious about change, we can hear positive, motivating words, even from a child. We just need to listen. We need to listen. Simple daily practices. Kids, sometimes we have to stop and take time out and go through a process of forgiveness and boundaries. Forgiveness and boundaries matter.
Talk about that. Hey, talk about that forgiveness and those boundaries.
Okay, forgiveness is release. A lot of times we've gotten messages from a generation that, the first thing we'll say, I'm not asking for forgiveness because that they did to me, blah, blah, blah. You're not doing forgiveness for the other person. You're doing it for yourself. Forgiveness is release. Boundaries are protection. You can forgive someone and still choose distance. Forgiveness is not pretending it didn't hurt. It's refused to be chained to it.
Okay.
Let me say that again. Forgiveness is not pretending it didn't hurt. It's refusing to be chained to it. That's what I mean by that. You're refusing to allow that pain that happened imprison you within your own psychological mind. I will never talk to another person. I'll never talk to another man. I'll never talk to, because of my own pain, my own traumatic experience. Okay, so I will not, what you're saying, I'm not going to allow my experience of pain keep me in prison from experiencing the opportunity of living life, moving on. So we don't have no control over when we go to the person and ask and tell her, I forgive you, or just want to say to you, you've not forgiven me, or I need your forgiveness. And that's okay. I'm coming to you because I need to be released from this burden of feeling as though, this situation happened. So forgiveness is not pretending it didn't hurt. Okay? Mm-hmm. It hurt when that person left. It hurt when you stole from me. It hurt when you compared me, whatever. But I'm not going to allow that pain to control my future.
And that right there, I think, listen, my audience, I'm sure right now first of all, I know they're being blessed here, hearing this topic about, and I know already you and I got to get back on the show for sure, no doubt, because I'm loving this because oftentimes people get themselves stuck and tied in a knot trying to please somebody else, or I don't want to forgive this, I don't want to do that, and they're tied themselves up in a knot because of them trying to, as you say, wear something that's not theirs, or I'm just stuck in this situation and I don't want to forgive, or number one, I don't want to ask for forgiveness.
Right.
I know I did them wrong. And I'm not apologizing because that's just principle of it. That's just how, as you said before, that's just how I am. That's just who I am. But if I know I wronged you.
Yeah. And Maurice, I really do believe, and it's just my own personal take, and the audience, so and I'll say you don't have to accept it, but this is what I believe. I believe when we struggle with the forgiveness and all this kind of stuff, my spirituality is my reset. Not shame, not the pain, because I do not believe God doesn't heal who you pretend to be.
Ooh, say that again.
That God doesn't heal who you pretend to be. And I think a lot, when we can be in knots. Okay, like this, we can be in knots. Sometimes when we are praying and we get up off our knees or whatever position we're in, and you say, why is it that God is not hearing me? Why is it that I feel like God has left me? Sometimes it goes back to the word reflect. Taking the time to sit still and be quiet and reflect. As you heal, your prayer needs to change. Your prayer today does not still need to look like your mother's prayer. Then God doesn't heal who you pretend to be. Surrender is not weakness. It's alignment, because I believe everyone is placed in this universe for a special purpose. I believe that placed in the universe, there's a vacancy out there for each person, and that purpose is good. Now, it goes back to my philosophy of life will eventually have a collision with the truth. And when you are not aligned up with your purpose, 99% of the time, and this is my opinion, when you're out of line, that means you're walking in someone else's path. You're walking someone else's journey.
Walking somebody else's path, someone else's journey.
Someone else's journey. And when you are not being real with yourself, and when you're using addictions and you're supporting that mental health diagnosis, it causes you to be out of line with your purpose. Because I just believe there's healing, but healing cannot heal, cannot take its role when you pretend. You're in that pretending, you're in that still in that presentation step. Because if you're still in the presentation step, you're still people pleasing. You're still seeking acceptance.
Yeah. And
so sometimes you gotta ask for strength.
So that people pleasing itself is a major knot.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you get into that's when you pull in the string to tighten your own knot today. Okay? So I would recommend to the listeners out there, if you speak anything, any words that has got your attention, there's a reason why it got your attention. So take out time today, tonight, and spend some quiet time with you. Because right now, nothing else matters but you this moment. Because tomorrow's not even promised. And create a relapse plan. Create a relapse plan for intervention. So when the knot starts tightening again, remember, what are you going to do if you participate in what's going on around you that's not yours, that you are tightening your own knot? So create a relapse plan. When your knot starts tightening again, you say, I will. Well, call some person. You're going to attend a support group. Make your coping list. So when you feel your knot is tightening, look on your list. Okay, what can I do when I'm feeling like taking a drink? What do I do when I feel my emotions are rising and I'm going to lose my anger? And I know when I lose my anger, I put holes in walls. I may hit someone. I may abuse my wife or abuse my child or abuse my husband. I may say some ugly things. You know what you're not. Be honest with yourself. So if you put together your coping plan, and this is what you're going to do when you feel these when you are triggered in certain areas. And this is how you begin to take control of your triggers. It's going to be there because you can't change somebody but you. So you're going to pray, you're going to ground, and you're going to move your body. I think, Matt, what is it you open up with? Keep moving.
Yep, keep moving. Hey, keep moving to become the great person you intended to be.
Yeah, so understand, as you're moving and you have these feelings, like almost getting angry or whatever, that's okay. You keep moving because a setback isn't failure. It's feedback. You're not. As we'll come to a closure, understand, I'm giving you liners here, key liners to replace these thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve love. Listen, you're not. It's not your identity. What tangle can be untangled in your life, but it's by thread by thread. Healing is an instant. It's a process.
Healing is a process. That's right. And we're so used to everything being instant microwave. We want everything fast or yesterday. You know, they even call it Instagram. Hello, everything's supposed to be now. But this process, I didn't get in it overnight.
That's right.
And so it may take me a minute to go through this process. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Have you ever waken up in the morning feeling sluggish, wishing you had an edge? You need the healthy edge, and that starts with your gut. Your gut does more than just digest food. It runs the show. It supports your immune system, fuels your energy, balances your mood, and keeps your body performing at its best. But stress, processed foods, lack of sleep, environmental toxins, they can throw your gut microbiome completely off track. Maybe you notice that sluggishness, the foggy thinking, unpredictable digestion, or just feeling off. That's your body talking to you. It's telling you to get P84. 84 fruits and vegetables grown naturally in organic environments all over the world, designed to detox the body, provide all the minerals and supplements needed for a healthy, strong body and gut. Whether you're 8 or 88 years of age, we all have a gut microbiome. That's why so many people are discovering the difference with P84, a breakthrough formula designed to support gut microbiome health in a whole new way. P84 works in your body, not against it. It nourishes good bacteria, supports digestive balance, and helps strengthen your gut lining so that your system can function the way it was built to. The result, a healthier, more resilient microbiome. Your body functions for its wellness. People everywhere are sharing their stories. More energy, better digestion, improved mood, clearer thinking, and a renewed sense of vitality. This is not a quick fix. It is not a fad. It is real science working at the cellular level, supporting your body's natural ability to repair, restore, and thrive. So if you're tired of feeling like your body is running low in gear, if you're ready to take the change and charge into a better digestive system, your energy, your long-term wellness. Start with P84. And the second part is Protandem. What is Protandem? Protandem is a scientific research formula designed to help your body fight oxidative stress, supports a healthy microbiome as well, and strengthens your natural pathway to feeling better. Imagine waking up clearer. With your gut supported, everything feels different. Real people seeing real changes, more digestive comfort, better focus, greater sense of well-being, because Botanum doesn't mask symptoms, it supports the body's cellular system. So if you're ready to take control of your health inside out of your gut, start with Protandem and P84, the Healthy Edge Pack. Simply go to mauricemcdonald.net, mauricemcdonald.net. That's MAURICE.net, MAURICE.net, and get yours today in your system. We're back, guys, here on WDRB, the voice of the community, on the It's About You radio show. I'm sure today you have been truly, truly blessed. Dr. Wanda's been putting some information out here. I've been sitting here listening to myself saying, oh, yes, I need to hear some of this myself. So in the time we have remaining, what's one of the parting words you would give to my audience, and also how they can get in touch with you?
Okay, thank you, Maurice. Thank you. My parting words for the audience is just to understand that you're valuable. You're in this universe for a special, beautiful purpose. Children need you. You need you. Most of all, we all join together and understand the way the universe is designed. You can always do a U-turn. Healing is a process. Again, my name is Dr. Wanda Brown-Ramseur. I am the owner of Steps Towards Success, right now located in Greensboro, North Carolina. I speak at different conferences. Looking forward to a series of retreats or programs coming up called the VIP Journey. I do trauma camps. I specialize in EMDR, which is a specialized trauma type of therapy. And through that process, you not only go through the eye movement, but you end up having a full body massage. Yes. And my platform is Spirit, Mind, and Body. I've served, my youngest client is 10 years old, all the way up to the late 60s. So well diverse. I do training, personal and professional development training for the healthcare community, group home staff. I really, really enjoy providing supervision and training. My phone number is area code 704-349-3789. If you call and I don't answer that, you know I'm with someone, please leave me a message. Leave me a text message. That way, the phone's always in my hand. If I see the text message, I'm going to call you right back. Meanwhile, you can go on Amazon. You can order my book. It's SIP. Have you had your SIP today? Getting ready to publish another book. The book comes also is in audio. And also, we're getting ready to upload a series of prayers. These are prayers that I see that should have been prayed centuries ago. That you still walk around with the roots of that pain, that secret, that dark secret of what happened, that not talking to the sister, the aunt, and all this going on in families, and still connected to a traumatic event that happened that's never been resolved. It's those type of prayers. I'm going to be having a YouTube channel, Early Morning Prayer. Again, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina, 1451 South M. Eugene Street. Just enjoying what I do. If I can be any help coming into churches and speaking. I have a special training for the faith community, leaders, teachers in the classroom. But so I'm just making connections deep within lives and restoring the human touch. Thank you, Maurice.
Oh, you're welcome. That phone number again is 704-349-3789 to reach out to Dr. Wanda. And let me tell you, it has been awesome having you here. And you definitely know we got to do this again, part 2 and part 3 and part 4, because at the end of the day, there's so much information that you have, and I want to glean. I know you'll be a blessing to this audience of mine that I have, and I really, really enjoy having you here. And guys, listen, as you well know, go to my YouTube channel. It's About You Radio, the YouTube channel. You get to hear the show again as well as any other shows you've missed. And also go to my website, MauriceMcDonald.net. That's MauriceMcDonald. And you also can go and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome. Guys, listen, each and every Tuesday morning, the It's About You radio show is right here. And we'll be right back here next Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDRB Media, the voice of the community, because we're going to be in the building.